Greetings, people. Well, I'm going to do another off the cuff video today. Whenever you see it says off the cuff or off the cuff episode 1 or 2, the off the cuff episodes are going to be just about world affairs or just whatever I think I want to talk about, as opposed to the specifics of, let's say, a spiritual discipline or something like that. In which case, I will name the video Thunder Hands on Taoism, or Thunder Hands on meditation, or Thunder Hands on Tai Chi, or whatever. That will be the way I'm going to do things here. So when I just talk about things like world affairs, that's the mundane. I tune in the frequency that's on a lower band, not the high frequency. So this is low frequency shit, okay? Can it be shamanistic still? Hell yes. There isn't anything that I say that can't be shamanistic, since I am a shaman. So take it for what it's worth. Now, I thought I'd talk about some of this stuff that's going on. Let's talk about environmentalism for a minute here. Let's talk about the planet, and nobody could be more of an environmentalist than yours truly, because I have indigenous blood, and so it's kind of, and I am a wisdom keeper, so how could I not be an environmentalist or love the environment? Well, what does that mean exactly? Well, there's a lot of people out there that call themselves quote unquote environmentalists, like some of these sap heads that are walking around protesting about global warming, or that Trump's not doing this or that, or that he's anti-environmentalists. And you got the people with the pipeline, and you got everybody out there worried about what's going to happen to Mother Earth. Well, let me tell you exactly what's going to happen to Mother Earth. Nothing. Let's take, for example, the pipeline thing, putting a pipeline through sacred lands, or putting a pipeline here. There's pipelines all over, as there are railroad cars with oil in them, trucks, whatever. So people are worried about the pipelines breaking and the oil spilling. Well, guess what, people? Where did that oil come from in the first place? Think about it. Where did it come from? Well, it came from Mother Earth. And guess where it's going to go if it spills? Well, it's going to go back to Mother Earth, whether it's through a waterway, or through the earth, or through some indigenous land. It's going to go back to Mother Earth. Mother Earth can take care of herself, as Grandfather Sky can. Now, can the people on the planet take care of themselves? Well, fuck no. Because they've proven in the past that they don't give a shit about shitting in their own backyard, so to speak. If they build a pipeline and it breaks and it goes all over the place and pollutes everything, well, guess who's going to suffer? Mankind is going to suffer. And mankind is basically an idiot. They're idiots. Now, again, Mother Earth has been through all kinds of changes since the formation of her. And she has survived up to this point. She has survived meteor strikes and cataclysmic volcanic eruptions. And there's been studies where they've found animals that have been freeze-dried, basically, with grass still in their mouth and food in their stomach that hasn't been digested. And so, or, the billions or millions of dinosaurs being wiped out in a single day, or whatever, maybe a series of days. But did Mother Earth go anywhere? Well, hell no. Mother Earth is still here, and Mother Earth will always be here. Now, if you take a gander at the planet from, let's say, a satellite or something, you've seen the pictures of the beautiful blue Earth swaddled in clouds, beautiful clouds, a blue-green Earth, brown Earth, blue-green. And as you look at the planet from up high, you can't really see all the little people down there like an ant colony, can you? And you can't see the cities, and you can't see the highways, and you can't see the wires stretching all over the place across the land, which tells me that it's rather insignificant. Doesn't it tell you that? Well, yes, it does. All this stuff that's going on, all these little dung beetles running around on Earth, causing havoc, creating havoc for themselves, basically, not for the planet, not for Mother Earth. So this whole environmental thing is a crock of shit, okay? It's just a way for people to make money, to get people to join organizations, to get people to protest. And then when they get out and protest, some other lunkhead takes control of them, like George Soros, and uses them, plants agent provocateurs. So it's really useless, okay? And here's another example. Half of this environmentalist crap is disinformation, like global warming. Global warming is not, there is no global warming. That's all coming out now, that's all trumped up. It's all a lie, basically. It's been a lie. Now, is there problems with the weather? Well, I'd say so. I'm not going to rule out that there isn't problems with the weather, because they fuck with that too, with the HAARP antennas, huge HAARP radio antenna farms that they project beams up into outer space and stretch out the ionosphere and let it snap back and do all kinds of weird shit, as well as spraying the skies with chemtrails. Well, hell yes, they're fucking with the weather. That's why we have weird weather, not because of any kind of climate, global warming. So all these people that are getting pissed off at Trump, okay, because he's revealing some truths about all this stuff, got their heads up their ass. And he just happens to be doing it, okay? I'm going to get to that in a minute. But if the truth be known, we're more on the verge of an ice age, not global warming. Right before you go into an ice age, things happen around the planet that can portray a different situation than it actually is. Yes, there can be summers or years in a row where it's hotter than normal, but that is a precursor for what's coming, okay? Now, let's touch on Trump here, the change of administration in the U.S. My take on that is that there is a deep state, and there's been a split in the deep state, or a split with Faction A and Faction B. Faction A was the people that were in charge before, that had a sickening agenda of world hegemony and control and globalism and all kinds of different things. And this is really too extensive to go into. If you're not up on this stuff, well then what can I say? But globalism is a form of slavery. Okay, so what did Trump do? Well, he came in and he put a wrench in the works with globalism and the whole agenda from A to Z. Why do you think there's so many protests? Why do you think that the media, who is controlled by this A faction, this deep state A faction. Why do you think they're so upset, and why do you think that everything Donald Trump does is a crime and a no-no and horrible and just the worst thing on the earth? All these things being trumped up, from environmentalism to whatever. And don't think for a minute that they're not going to fight him tooth and nail. Okay, he represents Faction B, which is taking the America into another course of action other than the road it was on, which was pretty pitiful, pretty destructive, pretty warmongering. Now, when you watch some of his actions, they seem contradictory sometimes, okay? But that's his strategy. I'm thinking that's his strategy. I don't like everything that I've heard out of the new administration. I didn't like the fact that when that Haley woman that he appointed as the UN ambassador started beating the same old drum about Crimea and Russia, completely opposed to what Trump said about it. He said he was going to ease sanctions and that it was okay, that the Crimean thing was okay. But see, even the people that he appoints, can oppose him or can be not part of his agenda. And these people could have been gotten to by the Faction A of the deep state. So what we see here, people, is we see a battle going on. We see if you want to look at it from a spiritual level, we see a yin and yang battle going on. Okay, a pulling at one another, a chaotic swirl here, a division. We see a division now. We see a huge division. I've never seen anything like it in my lifetime, actually, between the people in the United States. It's as deep a divide as the Civil War, where brother fought against brother and family against family for something that they believed was right or wrong at the time. Okay, it was a complete division in our culture, in our society. I'm not going to go into who I thought was right or wrong on that, but I have opinions about that too. I might do a video on that someday, but just suffice it to say that the South wasn't as bad as people thought, okay? Wasn't nearly as bad. In fact, they could have been the good guys. But I'm not going to get into that because, again, it really didn't have anything to do with slavery. I'll just say that much. Now, this division that we're seeing here is, like I say, it's unprecedented. And I see this year, okay, from all the research that I've been doing, and just watching the world, okay, I'm not really like, as I speak about this stuff, I don't want you to think like, oh my God, I'm so upset that this is happening and that's happening. And no, I'm pretty detached from it, and that's how you all should be. I just like to comment on it. I like to talk about it because it's interesting. It's interesting, and I look at things from a strategic point of view, and from a yin-yang point of view, and from a higher spiritual point of view. And so it's interesting to me which way the wind is blowing, Cola. Which way the wind's blowing. It's very interesting. And as a wisdom keeper, I like to know these things. And no, I'm not political. I didn't vote for Trump. I don't vote for any political party. But I can see energy and things happening and prophecy being fulfilled and this and that type of thing. And when I say prophecy, I mean Hopi prophecy, biblical prophecy, any kind of prophecy. So I like to watch things and I like to see what Trump's doing. The only reason I'm talking about Trump is because he's the one that brought this division about, okay, he's the one that brought this supposed division where everybody's up in arms, everybody's out there protesting, everybody's got a bone to pick, everybody's got something negative to say. And this is going to be an historic year because many people have said this, and I concur, that this is going to be the year that bombs are going to be dropped. And I'm not talking about nuclear bombs. I'm talking about truth bombs. I'm talking about there's going to be a lot of truth bombs being dropped. There's going to be a lot of people speaking the truth. And there's going to be a fall of the old order. You can see it already. Let's take, for example, the mainstream media came out with this thing called fake news, okay, which they thought was going to apply to the alternative media. Well, guess what? It turned right around and backfired and bit them in the fucking ass, okay? Because now everybody's saying, looking at them like, oh, that's fake news or this is fake news, when they come out and say something that they get caught in a lie, okay? And CNN and all kinds of these people have been caught in blatant lies of late. I mean, recently. And there's all kinds of instances of it. The lamestream media, the main scum media, gets caught in lies, and they're self-destructing along with the left. Okay, because the left is part of this faction A in the deep state. And this faction A or the left, they're basically destroying themselves. It's a self-destruct type thing. They're fighting a losing battle. They're like a mad person in their death throes, and they're lashing out at everybody and everything, and they're trying to start wars, and they're trying to disrupt Trump's presidency. They're trying to take America off track. They're trying to bring down other countries with themselves. And this was all the left, the Hillary crowd, the Democrats, who have a shitload of neocons, neoconservative warmongers in their group, and are allied, okay, so across the aisle with Republican neocons like McCain and Lindsey Graham and these fucking fanatics. So the lines have been completely blurred, but it originated in the Democratic thing, and then the Democrats started going more warmonger and more. Actually, Democrats have always been warmongers when you look back in history. Republicans more or less stood for the republic, not democracy, but the republic. There's a difference, people. And there is no real democracy. There never has been a real democracy. Elections and politics, it's always been an orchestrated, rigged affair. And that's another thing that's coming out, too, about elections being rigged. And who's bringing that out? Well, Trump's bringing that out, too. So no matter how you look at it, I look at it as certain people could be being used by some higher creative source, people like Trump, people like a new administration, to bring in change. Change is sometimes painful, but it's good. Sometimes change will bring things right down to the bare bone truth of the matter. So I kind of look for that type of thing to be happening here. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And I think it's happening. It's already happening, and I actually foretold this. I foretold it way back before it happened. I said people are going to think that when Trump gets in, and I said this many, many videos months ago, before Trump even got in, I said when he does get in, it's not going to be the beginning of the end of chaos. It's going to be the intensifying of chaos, okay? Because when one side is being sapped out and losing and having their covers pulled and having their years and years and years of lies being exposed, there's a process of uncovering those lies and a process of maybe uncovering lies that go way, way back. I'm talking about historical lies, even about our creation and all kinds of things, UFOs, aliens, things that the government has tried to keep from us. This is going to be the year when you're going to start seeing minds being blown with more and more of this type thing coming out about the truth about all kinds of different things, maybe 9/11 too. The truth about that, how that was an inside job, how that was orchestrated. And Trump actually said, if people look at his words, he actually said that he didn't believe the 9/11 report. Okay. He also stated that he didn't believe that an aircraft could crash into a steel structure like that without just being completely obliterated. It would never bring the towers down. There you go. There's some truth, okay, because it was an inside job and it was blown up with explosives, brought down in an explosive demolition type thing. Has anybody else ever said anything like that? Has anybody else questioned the official line on 9/11? So that right there is huge. That right there is fucking huge if he said that. And this is a direct quote from something that he said. Now, whether this plays out in let's say an explosive situation where everything is brought down to the bare bones and rebuilt again, or whether the faction A of the deep state decides to commit suicide and take the world with it, because there's even though there's a split, there's still a lot of the old crew, the faction A of the deep state, still pulling a lot of strings, infiltrated, because when something gets infiltrated for that many years, well, let's just put it this way, Trump and whoever the factions that he might represent, and you have to look at that possibility too. Trump could just be a front man, okay, for this other faction that has decided, no, this is not the way we want things to go. It's going too far. It's getting too far out of hand, and we're going to bring it back this way. So he could just be a front man for that other faction, that faction B of the deep state, or maybe the faction B isn't really of the deep state, has always been against the deep state and just got a little bit more power now. But whatever is happening, you can be sure that there is a split, and you can be sure that the old agenda is no longer valid, and you could be sure that hundreds of thousands of people will probably die, and hundreds of thousands of people will probably protest and be on the wrong side because they're totally misled, have been misled by a mainstream media that has been pounding away at them for untold years, 24/7. And you got a lot of new people that are coming up, the millennials and the next generation that is just doing a whole lot of questioning right now, which is good. And they're going to have truths revealed to them that's going to blow their fucking minds, okay? So anyway, that's just kind of my take on it. Just looking at things, looking at the big picture here like I always do. And giving a little insight, shall I say, into the way thunder sees things. So I guess that's about all for now. I'll leave it there. Adios, over and out.